clear that the two issues are related. And they are, because what did the Maliki government say to try to excuse their reprehensible actions at Ashraf? They said, well, they're on the United States terrorist list. They're on the FTO list. Well, first of all, that doesn't excuse slaughtering innocent people, including 8 defenseless women. But let's look at the second issue. Should the MEK be on the list as a foreign terrorist organization? Is there any evidence to support the MEK being on that list? Well, I told you that I was a district attorney. And as a district attorney, we're trained to look at the evidence. So I'd like the White House and the State Department for a second to look at the evidence. Let's look at the people who actually did investigations, who were actually on site. You're going to hear from Director Free in a second. The FBI director under President Clinton, whose administration unfortunately put the MEK on the list in the first place. He will tell you that he ordered a FBI investigation of every single resident of Camp Ashraf and found not one of them to have links to any terrorist organization or activities. That's the FBI. You're going to hear from Mr. Sano from the CIA, and he will deliver the same message, and that's the CIA. And not with us today, but a man who's been with us on several occasions, former Attorney General and Judge Michael Mukasey, whose job it was as Attorney General to prosecute terrorists. If he were here today, he would repeat what he said on a number of occasions, that there are no terrorist links to the MEK. In addition to that, there are 3 generals, including General Shelton, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who were in Iraq, who served in Iraq, and all who have said over and over again publicly that MEK and the residents of Ashraf are no part of any terrorist organization. But it even goes further than that. The evidence is piling up. And if the White House is listening and the State Department is listening, the evidence keeps getting bigger and bigger. Colonel Wesley Martin, who served as base commander at Camp Ashraf for 8 years, who was in charge also of counterintelligence activities in Iran, he has said many times, and he will say it again today, that there was no terrorist activity at Ashraf and that there's no evidence whatsoever that MEK is a terrorist organization. So, we have heard from the people whose job it was to find out, whose job it was to know. Madam Secretary, Mr. President, the FBI, the CIA, the U.S. military, the base commander of Ashraf, what more evidence can we give you? But the good news is there's still more. Because our brethren in the United Kingdom, our friends in the European Union, the wonderful nation of France, they have all looked at the same issue and they have said there's no reason to keep the MEK on a terrorist list, and they have all delisted the MEK. If it's good enough for Great Britain and France and the EU, their example is one that we should follow and follow now. But there's still more. There's still more. The Court of Appeals, reviewing the evidence